What is up, nerds? Welcome back to episode 25 of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, with Pickleball Pursuit. Here with my co-host, Justin from Pickleball, etc. Justin, what's going on, man? Have you been playing?
I have. We have.
Do we even want to talk about that?
Unfortunately. This is episode 25?
I think.
I thought it was 24. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It never matters.
It never matters. Yeah. Are there even episodes?
We want to talk about it?
Oh,
what we've been
man.
playing this week.
Let's talk about Austin.
Okay,
and then
cool, yeah.
Very quickly talk about. So Justin and I went down to Bastrop, as he says, Bastrop, Bastrop, Texas, and we played in a little tournament together at Lost Pines, right? Lost Pines, which was Live Ball put the tournament together. A guy named Remus, great tournament, honestly. He even had like a last minute division fill up that like put everything behind, but like I think we only started 30 minutes late.
Yeah, 28 minutes late. And honestly, the organization was probably the best of any tournament I've played. Well, one of the best, I would say. And it was really well done. And he was definitely on top of everything that was happening. So
yeah, super nice guy too. We, spoiler alert, did not get it done. And then whenever he walked out, he goes, "Lewis, there's still time. You got 20 more days," or something like that. Was hilarious. But to backtrack a little bit, we went to Austin, or technically Pflugerville, on Thursday, right? Or was it Friday?
It was on Friday. You went to Austin Pickle Ranch on Thursday. You're skipping that part. Yeah,
my wife and I played open play at Austin Pickle Ranch on Thursday. Actually saw a subscriber there. We were playing in the vicious 3-0 to 3-5 open play. My wife is like, her duper is technically 299 or something like that. And I was not trying to play hard at all. Just kind of wanted to play with her and have some fun. So we played there, met a subscriber. I'm pretty sure it's Han. But if I forgot, I'm so sorry. I know. Wow. It was a crazy weekend, and I'm trying to block a lot of it out of my memory, and that might have just got part of it.
Oh, no.
But
collateral damage.
I believe it was Han and Kwong. Played them. Han as a subscriber. I walked in Austin Pickle Ranch, and I hear somebody go, "Where's Justin?"
Really?
I completely forgot to tell you that. Yeah. And I thought it was hilarious. That was when you were driving in. So played there for a little while. Had some fun, man. Austin Pickle Ranch is freaking nice, dude. If you're just like a casual player and want a really nice facility to play at in Austin, dude, I mean, it is legit. I'm sure they have like very serious play as well, but it just seems like a good vibe. And have you ever been there?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's just,
I think they have a couple locations. I think they have 2 locations. And then they are, I heard, expanding up to 5 locations in Austin pretty soon.
Jeez, that's a lot of pickleball.
There's so many new locations in Austin, like facilities, man. It's crazy.
How many are there in Waco?
0. If you guys haven't heard, we'll have 0 indoor facilities, okay?
Yeah.
Dude, you saw it, Lewis. Every single time I saw someone in Austin this weekend who was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm part owner of this facility." I'm like, when you're ready to expand to Waco, hit me up. I'm your guy.
Yeah, I'm your guy.
Just trying to literally get anybody.
I have no money to help you, but I will do anything it takes.
I am a consultant.
That's right.
And I do know this market. So
You do. All right, Friday. Friday was a fun day. You and I and the wives went to Pickle Land, which is in Pflugerville, which is just north of Austin. We met up with a very, unknown YouTuber by the name of Building Pickleball, Brian. And we played Brian and Jeff Lee Pickleball. Funny enough, Jeff and I played indoor soccer together years ago when he was at LSU. And whenever I started playing pickleball, I saw all of his content. I was like, that dude looks just like Jeff that I played soccer with. And I was like, his last name's not Lee. And I looked him up, and his Facebook is no longer, valid or whatever. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's just, maybe I'm just being a white guy saying an Asian man looks like another Asian man that I used to play soccer with. Funny enough, he comes down to Baton Rouge one day and is playing at Stax right before Christmas time. And I'm like, I swear I know him. I swear that's the Jeff that he used to play with. He comes up to me. He's like, Lewis, dude, how have you been? I was like, Jeff, God, please don't think any less of me. But did we not play indoor soccer together? He was like, yeah, we did. I was like, okay, thank God. I was like, I felt, just like one of those idiots, just pretending like I knew somebody who looks similar to someone. But anyway, we met with Jeff and Brian, and I say met. We got our asses kicked.
I was going to say them. We were going to like, let's get some warm up games.
Yeah,
we got some tune up games.
Let's go ahead and just lead it with this. Whenever we get there, I know where this is going. Me and you were playing a game against Jeff and Tabitha, my wife, and Brian gets there and he's ready to play. And like right before we start playing, I go, Brian, do you want to warm up or anything? He's like, I don't need to warm up against y'all or something that. And he did not warm up, and they proceeded to. The first game was pretty good. The second game was and then they smoked us the third game. Yeah. It's like 11-1 or something insane. But
hardest games we played all weekend, by the way, by far.
Jeff is an absolute baller. And Brian is just solid, rock solid, gets everything back. Had a really good time playing with them. Both are exceptionally nice people. Jeff is one of the sweetest guys ever, and then Brian's just a super solid dude and hilarious, honestly. But what were your thoughts on their games and our games against them?
Yeah, Jeff's too smooth. He's too smooth. Yeah, he's one of those people who just looks like he's not trying. Like it looks like his shoes aren't even tied while he's just smashing you. And it's just, I know I said this a bunch, but he's like, and a lot of higher level players have this, but he is so damn deceptive.
Yes.
It just felt like, especially his two-handed backhand, like a dink or, off the bounce or whatever. It just felt like he had 10 options at any point, and 9 of them were going to work against me. Mm-hmm. So we were doomed. And like you said, Brian is just solid. What is it?
You got one back one time. He had one good counter on Jeff.
Oh, yeah, one time.
Yeah, out of the 30 or something like that.
But. Yeah. But you just didn't know where he was going with it, fast or slow or anything, and it was just smooth.
No. Yeah, and exactly like you said, Brian is just solid. He doesn't really do anything crazy, but does everything well. Jeff, I remember specifically, I hit one speed up the middle. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to burn him. And then he closed the distance or the gap so fast, countered it, and just smashed it right by me. I was like, God, there are people who are just so much better at pickleball than I ever will be. But it was really fun. Really fun. And then
we didn't even mention, let me say this now before we get too deep, is last week I talked about my Achilles being hurt and being off for 3 weeks. So this was basically my second time playing, like at all. So this was like definitely in 3 weeks. So this was definitely to see, am I up to speed for the tournament the very next day? And thankfully everything's healing really well. I felt fine. Didn't play well because I had 3 weeks off, but my foot was okay. So I was feeling good for the tournament. And it's been even getting better since then. So everything's good on that front. Thank you guys for all the concern in the comments, everybody wishing me well and giving me advice. I really appreciate that. It's so kind, We joke around and goof off on this podcast a lot, but then, you get these wholesome moments every now and then when you realize that, the people who are watching are just nice people,
They love
just nice
you,
to
man.
us.
They love you.
So I appreciate that. Thank you. Feeling much better. And the foot was fine, although I'd like to say it wasn't based on the way I played.
Another thing we should mention, Pickle Land. So nice.
Yeah, incredibly nice.
And very quiet. That's an underrated trait of a good pickleball facility is the noise. Yeah. It was very quiet. You could hear, the score being called. You could talk to the other team the whole game. There was no issues with hearing.
Beautiful facility. Yeah, it was really nice.
Super nice. But Friday afternoon, I went and filmed a podcast with Brian, and no clue when that's going to be out. But if you want to hear me blabber about a bunch of stuff, probably a pretty good podcast to tune into.
On the Building Pickleball channel.
On the Building Pickleball channel, yes, to clarify. Brian is a very good interviewer. You can tell he puts a lot of thought into his questions, and also leads and steers the conversation in good directions. And honestly, I was just excited to talk to him because I wanted to know about his MMA career. I was so excited to ask him about that because I'm a huge UFC fan, and man, it is insane to me that people do that willingly and enjoy it. So I wanted to hear his experience with that because it's wild, but it was fun. Be on the lookout for that. Saturday.
We played the tournament. We played bad. Okay, let's move on.
The end. Yep. Anyway, so yeah.
What's the next segment?
Next segment. Anyway, the tournament sucked ass. We will move on. Shapeshifter. It's launching, man. We got 3 new Shapeshifters coming out, dude. They're coming out the 14th.
Correct.
You can save, it's either 10 or 15%. It's Pursuit 10, Pursuit 15, something like that. But yeah, you got the white edge guard at HX? Jealous, dude.
I actually have white edge guard all 3 now because I pulled some strings. Meaning,
that's okay. This is, I forgot.
Oh yeah, but it's good that you have it so we can show the difference. These do come in black and white edge guard. This is the
6mm core cells, right?
Yeah, and actually you can see on mine, if you look close in the ball dust up here, you can see this small cell size. So yeah, that size is a little bit better.
Very soft and plush feeling paddle, but a surprising amount of power and pop.
Enough was what we'd call it. Yeah. I think in today's market, this is basically a control paddle, the right kind of control paddle, because it feels like in today's game, you can't go full control. I mean, you can, but I don't know if you want to, right?
Yeah.
Full pillow control, but this paddle gives really good control and feel in comparison to the other paddles available on the market and the other popular paddles. While still having enough power and pop to work with, especially if you get a high ball or a put away. It's not like you're not going to be able to put it away.
All right, the real question is, do you prefer the OG shape or the HX, the new HX shape?
The new HX shape.
Yeah,
but
I would agree.
Only because of the handle. The handle is pretty good. This is a 5.6-inch handle, and I'm a pretty big hand guy, and I hold my paddle like this. So whenever I go to put my second hand on, I often overlap, or I have to hug this down.
Oh, so man, you golf grip it. Dang.
Well, I don't always, but sometimes if it's a quick one, I'll just grab over my other hand.
Yeah.
But, I'll try to do this. But I like that. I would say that stock, this is a little less stable and a little bit higher balance than the OG hybrid shape. But of course, you see I have weight on mine. It's
much lighter and quicker as well.
Stock is quite light. But the way I have mine set up right now, by the way, just so people, if they're curious, this is this is 5 grams on each side since it's quite a light paddle. And this setup is 116 swing weight, 7.3 or 7.4 twist weight. And
you said 116?
Yeah, and it's only 8.1 ounces. So
really
at that light weight and having 7+ twist weight and only 116 swing weight, with it only being 8.1 ounces, still feels plenty fast and quite good. So yeah, but 3 shapes, just like we talked about with the Fire. So they have their hybrid shape and their elongated shape. They all kind of look similar. They have square top, flared edges, 5.6 handle, and then their wide body shape. This is a really wide boy. This is a little too short for me personally. I like a standard shape, but this one is like 15.8, so it's a little bit too short and wide. But dang, if you want ultimate control, the SX is the shape, man. This thing is just like feels like a giant sweet spot.
I would completely agree.
This is the paddle cover, because each of the chorus models now have their own unique paddle covers. We showed the fire one; it's red, has a big C. This is the Shapeshifter one, orange.
Yep, I actually really like the orange paddle covers. Looks very cool, very unique. I mean, everybody just does the typical black with whatever color lettering. So really, really solid lineup. Not going to be nearly as aggressive as the fire lineup. However, it will fit the needs of many more players, in my personal opinion. Definitely one for the masses. If you like the OG Shapeshifter and you just wanted something a little bit quicker, the HX is
and with a longer
your
handle.
paddle. Yes, and a longer handle. The HX is 100% your paddle. Little bit different feel, little softer.
I agree. Yeah. I think
not that drastic.
The stated intent was for it to have a little bit more pop than the OG, but in my estimation, I don't have a radar gun. And in my estimation, I think it actually has slightly less pop and a slightly softer, kind of nicer feel. It's quite dampened. It's got a great feel. I mean, like I said, this is, I would call it like control leaning in today's market. A year or two ago, you might call this like a full-on all-court or even above that. But of course, in today's market, like everything's kind of moved up. So, but I've been enjoying it. And I'll might have to talk about it a little bit more later.
Very good. Matt, excellent job on the Shapeshifters. Those will go live the 14th of December. You can utilize code Pursuit 10, Pursuit 15, one of those three. I'll put it on the put it up on the screen for you guys. So yeah, great paddles. We're gonna move on to a new paddle coming out, which is the Sword and Shield J3 Ti. Hit with this a ton today. And I'll kind of save most of it for the review, but this paddle is about as good of a control paddle as there can possibly be. Especially in today's market. You kind of alluded to it. The power scale has risen, and you do need a little bit more power, a little bit more pop to kind of keep up with the game. This has enough while still being extremely, extremely good in the control category. So should have a full review of that probably end of this week, early next week. So if you did like the J3K and you wanted something a little bit more soft and plush feeling, you're going to really like this one. It did come in a little lighter than the original J3Ks, which were fairly hefty boys, actually. I think one was like 117. This one was 113 swing weight. So,
is it, quick question, is it what you'd expect as a change from the J2 Ti? So,
yes.
A little bit bigger sweet spot, a little bit longer handle, but of course, a shorter paddle overall. But similar other than that?
Yeah, very, very similar feel to the J2 Ti. Longer handle. Standard shape, huge sweet spot still. So the only thing you're sacrificing is just that little bit of extra reach. So if you're someone who likes standard shapes, you loved the J2 Ti, and you want a longer handle, I mean, no-brainer.
We both love the J3 shape, you and I. I know you played with it for a long time, and I played with the J3K Pro for a few weeks, and that is like a top of the list, one of my favorite shapes. I like a long handle standard shape or at least a stable hybrid shape, so
this I would have said this is the absolute best standard shape, like shape wise and handle, but I think the Neonic Flare Prime X is just a tiny bit more desirable for my personal opinion.
Agree. I think the flare shape is my top standard shape right now. And the Rhombus R2 shape is pretty close, but with just a slightly shorter handle.
I don't love the R2 shape.
Is it
don't dislike it. Just don't love it for something about it. that I just can't quite put my finger on.
It's probably the handle. I put it up against the Flare just the other day, and they're very similar overall dimensions, but the handle is noticeably shorter, like half a finger shorter, so you notice when you go to...
To clarify, it's a R2 shape is perfectly fine and a very good shape. It's just I didn't love it. Right. So yeah, on to another paddle that we're gonna hopefully review soon. I can't remember if I talked about this last podcast, but the new Gearbox Pro Ultimate Hyper came in. I was able to finally hit it. I think I did hit it. If I talked about it last podcast, I'm pretty sure I did hit it. Haven't hit it anymore, but yeah, should have this out soon, probably in the next couple weeks. Might have to wait till after New Year's, but as expected, it is a Gearbox. So keep that in mind. And finally, a big update. I loaned this Pulse S to a good friend of mine and one of my playing partners, Richie. He put it through quite a bit of play, and finally, it has broken in.
Your ball bouncing skills should show
I know.
People.
I'm trying not to hit my microphone.
Should show people how we perform in the
so bad. And this is what, normal pulse that is not broken in sounds like. So the break-in period has met the Pulse S that I received. So glad I got that tested out just to confirm that. And it seems like it is a issue across all Pickleball Apes Pulse lineups. So
if you guys want like a good, solid, nerdy breakdown with photos and videos and everything, go watch episode 1 of the Pickleball Medicine podcast. I think it was posted a little bit over a week ago, but Dustin did a great job going into this, and he took a lot of good photos and videos that he actually put into the podcast. So, you know, from one nerd to another, great job, Dustin, and go look at it there. It kind of explains what's happening in the break-in podcast.
He called you the Oracle and me a weasel.
Yeah, I didn't catch him call you a weasel. That's perfect.
Yeah, he said Lewis got the invader early, that weasel.
Oh.
Yeah, just being silly, but it cracked me up. Dustin is a great guy, very underrated reviewer. So
you say underrated? He's got more subs than you, bro.
Well, I mean,
so
no one talks about
that.
him though. Like no one talks about how good of a reviewer he is.
Yeah, Dustin's solid.
I don't hear anybody saying that on the Discord, but yeah,
we like Dustin.
Good.
He's one of the good ones for sure.
Yep, for sure. So don't love that these paddles are breaking in. But at the very least, it does not seem to be as much of a, like a core degradation as paddles like the Mod or the Gearbox. And I'm forgetting one other one. What am I forgetting?
No, you're not
that's it.
Anything.
Yeah.
The original Gen 3s, which is the same thing as a Mod.
Yeah.
And side note real quick, Richie, if you watch this, you're a freaking savage for just using the stock grip like that.
Monster,
no
dude.
overgrip.
Look, well,
come on, bro.
Like part of it's coming off.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
You do better, Richie.
Yeah.
Put an overgrip on that thing.
Richie is, he does put overgrips on his paddles, and dude puts a lot of lead on his paddle. I mean, I think his Pulse, or his, Pearl Energy S was like almost 10 ounces, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he put so much lead. But yeah, we'll move on. We're going to move on to some non-paddle things, which first we're going to talk about a new backpack from ADV. We got sent this a couple weeks ago, and we're going to actually play a video unlike last week with the kitchen bag. That was my bad. I'm going to really, really try my best to play a video over this.
You're going to play it.
Yeah. So ADV came out with this new backpack. It is, before we get into too much detail, this bag is literally the shit. Like,
yeah, I love it.
This bag is so damn good. Tons of room. You can fit literally so much crap in here, and it's a very like small, streamlined form factor, which is like crazy. So, Justin, I'll kind of let you run into it because I've been talking a shitload. So, go ahead.
So, a lot of you probably know of the ADV Pro bag, the one that Pickleball Will, helped design and promote, and then it was on Kickstarter. That's like kind of the big, we call it the jetpack, bag. I have that one too, by the way. I've had it for a while, and that bag is really freaking good, but it's pretty beefy, and there are certain things about it that kind of make things hard to quick access, so to say. It's not that they're hard to access, but it's like if you want to get this, pop the bag off, lay it down, flip it open, and then everything's available. It's more like that. Whereas the backpack, this is actually a pickleball or tennis backpack, and it comes with a little cape, what they call it. So you can put rackets in there, and then it has an additional cape that goes up and covers the handles. Or you can take that cape right off, and then now it's just good enough. It'll hold a pickleball paddle inside of it. And I wrote a review for it, and this was, I felt cheesy as I wrote this, and I still feel cheesy saying it now, but it's true. I said that the bag, it does more than meet your needs, it anticipates them. Like, seriously, I've been using it for almost a month now, and every single time I'm like, oh, where am I going to put this? I decide I'm going to bring a new thing along in my bag, and then I go to look in the bag about where can I keep this, separate from other stuff and organize. I'm like, oh, crap, look, here's an available pocket. This seems perfect size and right in the right place, and it's just really freaking good. And there is a shoe compartment, and I usually, or used to not really carry shoes just because it was a pain in my ass, but in the winter, I carry shoes more because the ground's more wet, things like that. And this, for a backpack, carries shoes really well. It does take up space into the main compartment, but in a way that's not too obtrusive. All the other pockets in the main compartment are still easily accessible with shoes in there, and you can still fit, like at the tournament, I had my shoes in there, and I still had a hoodie and pants folded up inside, as well as I could still get to the laptop sleeve and things like that. So it's actually a really sick bag for travel because it has other features that aren't pickleball related. Like it has a full laptop sleeve with a side zip quick access pocket, and it's compliant with what's the TSA compliant, so you can do it as a carry-on. And it just looks like, especially in this black colorway, you'll see it on the video that Lewis is going to post. It looks, it looks pretty low key. It doesn't necessarily look like a pickleball bag if you get the blackout colorway. No. It looks like a everyday carry. ADV branding is super clean and minimal, and it's just awesome. And yeah, dude, really loving it. It's also comfortable to carry. It's like a larger backpack compared to like just a regular backpack.
Fairly lightweight. Like that was one thing I was very impressed with. It's just how light it felt.
Stands up on its own, with or without shoes in it. So.
Yeah, love that. This is no digs on Kitchen. Kitchen is like the really nice bag. This is like the bag that makes sense for every pickleball player, in my personal opinion. So it's $202 after code pursuit. You can use that for the this backpack or the pro bag. So man, you have the pro bag. I mean, how would you compare the two?
I actually like the backpack better. I mean, here's when I would use the pro bag. If I was going to be out of town, like at a large tournament, and I wanted to carry my camera stuff, pro bag. Because then I can have shoes, camera gear, all my pickleball gear, clothes. The cooler area is bigger on the pro bag. There is a cooler on the backpack too, but it's just... so it comes in handy more if you're going to be like, oh, this is like a whole weekender. It's almost like you can pack for the weekend in the whole bag. And it also has great features. It's comfortable, looks good. Same stuff we said about before. And the materials are the same. And so, like you talked about with the kitchen, we said last week that the kitchen's materials are very premium in like a heavy, almost luxury car way. That is super nice and feels super durable, but it feels heavy, right? These materials on the ADV bag they almost feel like premium in like a tech way. They feel like modern materials. They also feel durable and pretty weatherproof, but in more of a light, weather-resistant way. Think about camping gear or backpacking gear, like the new modern, really expensive stuff has all these high-tech, lightweight fabrics that are very strong and resistant. That's the type of fabric that's on this bag, rather than like a more premium leatherette sort of feel like the kitchen bag.
Yeah. Yep. So. I've had quite a few bags, and no disrespect to any other bags that I've tried. I've tried the Anivia Sling bag, which is a really good small compact bag. I've tried the Mavericks bag, which is a great big bag to store a bunch of shit in. Kitchen, this ADV bag, and a couple other ones that I can't think of the names off the top of my head. I think one of them was a Body Helix and something else. But this is by far the most thoughtful and most the smartest bag of them all, like by a long shot. And I would go, haven't tested all the bags on the market, but I'd be shocked if there was a better one. Absolutely shocked.
Better design. Yeah, it's very intelligently designed. The only thing it's missing, this is the one thing that is missing for pickleball in my mind, is there's no specific ball hopper pocket, which you get on the ADV Pro bag and you get on the kitchen bag. However, the little cooler pocket on the side, I don't, like on an everyday basis, I'm not carrying hot and cold stuff. So the cooler pocket actually fits balls perfectly, and it's very easily accessible. So that's become my ball pocket. And then if I was going to a tournament, maybe I'd want to use the cooler for the cooler. But if I was going to a tournament, I'm not carrying really more than 1 or 2 balls anyway. So I would probably just pop those in the main compartment.
That top front pocket that you can fit like your keys and wallet in, there's like 4 zipper pockets. Yeah. I put 3 balls in there and my keys and wallet in there with no issues.
So maybe on a tournament day, if I was going to use the cooler, that's where I'd put the balls.
Yeah. Easy thing to fix. I mean, worst comes to worst, you could just do what you have to do with literally every other bag in the world, which is just throw them in the main compartment and just dig them out. True. So,
here's the by the way, I don't know if this helps, but
yeah.
Real quick thing. This may or may not matter to you guys, but just here's another thoughtful design. Look, this is the bottle holder, which, by the way, I put a 64-ounce thing in here. Lewis has seen it. It's giant, and it still fits. Crazy. But look at this. See this? This is perfect for a tripod. You put your tripod in here, and then you can strap your tripod down. It keeps it from falling over or flopping out. This is what we're talking about, thoughtful design. Like, this is just such an easy little strap to put on here. Most people won't use it, but if you're someone who carries a tripod, you are definitely going to appreciate this. Another small thoughtful thing that I didn't think I would use, but I end up using all the time, is the handle on the side. I end up carrying this. Like, oftentimes when I'm just hopping out of my car and walking 30 steps, instead of putting it on like a full backpack, I just grab it like this. And it's actually more comfortable to carry kind of on its side like a duffel, more ergonomic, rather than carrying it from the top handle, which does exist.
And there's also one on the,
There's also one here that you can carry this way, but I find that if I was going to grab this one, I would just grab this one. It's better. And there's a little secret pocket for cash. It's kind of a hidden pocket up here somewhere, right there.
Great bag. ADV really appreciate you guys sending those over to us to test and to use for
forever.
The foreseeable future. Yeah.
I know, right?
Until y'all probably make another one. So, excellent bag. Just a reminder, if you want to pick one of these up, they are a little bit pricey. $200 after code pursuit, or $202 to be exact. So, great bag. It's just
a buy once, cry once purchase. So
yeah, it really is. Yeah, really is. So we're going to move on to something else that is non-pickleball related. Like we said, we are going to continue our shoe review. So we are going to talk about the Diadem. What are these? Court Burst? Is that what the...
Court Burst.
Yep. So let's go ahead and talk first about the pros. Justin, what was your pros for these Court Burst shoes?
Yeah, let me go first because full disclosure, I didn't get to wear these that much because, as you guys know, I've been suffering with an Achilles problem. So these weren't ideal. I probably will try to put more time into them once my foot's feeling better. But it's not a knock on these shoes. It's more about my foot and what's going on. So I wore them for one session and it aggravated me a little bit. But like I said, not a knock on these shoes. Actually, a lot of shoes have been aggravating my Achilles. But let me say, just shoe design-wise, because as we talked about last week, I'm quite a shoe nerd. there are some things I really appreciate about the design of these shoes. First off, we'll start at the bottom. Traction is just smart. They kept it basic. They kept it smart. It's herringbone. It's mainly flat herringbone, which you see, on tennis shoes. So this allows for good grip and multi-directions, but also allows for sliding. I don't know if you can see, but there's actually a little air channel here. This is pocketed in. And the purpose of this is to allow the heel to move a little bit more. Also, when you have air channels, it allows for better sliding, as well as, your heel is right on the other side of this. So your heel will compress this a little bit, and that's a little bit added cushion for your heel. So those are the things I like about the outsole. Did you notice that it says
Diadem under?
No.
Yeah. There's
yeah.
the letters Diadem.
That'll pick that up in the camera.
Yeah, but, hard to see. But you can see the M right here.
There we go. Yeah, you can see this on the lighting now. Oh, that's cool. I hadn't even noticed, honestly.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, see, there's some thoughtful design, okay? So a very rugged toe drag, and they were smart enough to bring up the outsole rubber here to cover the foam. Oftentimes, companies continue their foam, and you'll rip through the foam like crazy, even if there is a good toe drag guard. So that's nice to see. This is like a jacquard knit. It's very buttery and soft, so there's like very little break-in. Smart design that they put a very high proximal eyelet, so you can do a runner's knot if you want to lock your heel in. The heel counter is substantial in a good way, and then there's also a TPU plastic piece right here. This is plastic, and this is very good for lateral containment. Of course, because as you press off or you run and make a lateral cut, this part of your foot is going to press hard into the outside of the shoe. So smart design on that. And then that'll be my main pros, and I'll pass it to you for your pros, and then come back to me, and I'll talk about the things maybe that aren't my favorite.
Yeah, firstly, these are pretty comfortable shoes. They're kind of more speedy shoes, a little bit lighter, a little more minimal.
Definitely a speed shoe.
Yeah, they are the quality of the upper as well as the toe guard, and honestly the outsole is very high. I do like the feeling of the materials. They are very breathable, shockingly, and I really liked the fit of these shoes. I have kind of narrower feet and flat feet. Felt like they were very locked in. The width was probably, I would say, medium in width, and
it's a little bit narrow, but you might not notice that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But the heel lockdown was very good as well, which not elite by any stretch of the imagination, but very good. Never had any heel slippage at all.
No, it's very good.
Very comfortable. There's no like parts of this shoe that's going to probably give anyone blisters, which I could be wrong, but after wearing these multiple times, wearing them for a couple hours when first breaking them in, I never had any hot spots or rubbing, which is always a good sign. So on to the things that you feel like could improve.
Yeah, so if there was going to be a version 2, these are the things I'd like to see. These are the fit is pretty narrow. Lewis may not notice that because he has a narrow foot, but it's actually quite narrow, especially right here, like before your metatarsal heads. But it does break in pretty easily because this is just a jacquard knit. So you end up breaking it in pretty quickly. So that's not even a big deal that it's kind of narrow, honestly, unless you have a really wide foot, not going to be a problem. But I think it is almost a half size long. Like for me, my toes were way down here. And the width was pretty tight, but fine. But it was very long. And one of the things that makes that an issue is, this is my main concern with these shoes. There is very little torsional rigidity. Like these can just spin like this, which isn't ideal. And because of this hard piece right here, it actually causes the flex points of the shoe to be in awkward places. As you can see, it flexes here, which is essentially right on the middle of your toes. And that's okay, kind of. But the problematic one is that it doesn't flex at all here where your actual metatarsal heads are, like as in your toe knuckles need to bend right here. And the shoe doesn't flex here because this comes here and comes underneath a little bit. And it forces the shoe to flex here, which is right at your midfoot. And that can be really problematic. So if you're a person that notices any type of plantar fasciitis or anything like that, these could definitely make it flare up. And that could be fixed just by kind of reshaping this and adding an internal shank in the midfoot, honestly. Or like we've talked about. Are you ready to move on to the next segment, or you want to say anything more about these?
No, I was going to say they're very good-looking shoes. In my personal
both colorways
opinion.
are pretty nice, actually.
Very sleek design. That's something that you don't have very many good court shoes available in terms of looks. But yeah, I did have a little bit of a flare-up with my plantar fasciae. Could 100% be caused directly with me running for the first time in a little while, in combination with wearing these. But I'd probably, if my money was on it, it would probably be from the running that, I started doing just out of nowhere. So, but just wanted to mention that just in case anybody does have plantar fasciitis or problems with that, you might want to, steer clear of these and go somewhere else. Just as a cautionary.
Yeah. So that kind of leads directly into something else I wanted to talk about. These shoes made me want to talk about this because I told Lewis, I basically decided pretty early on I wasn't going to play in them now. I would wait until my foot was healed up. And then Lewis said, he was like, hey, I'm going to try them out. And I said, man, I really think you should put in an insert, like an orthotic insert. These are like over-the-counter orthotics. A lot of people already know about these. I just wanted to show you guys some of my favorite ones. So these over-the-counter orthotics have hard plastic support for your arch. So you can tell as compared to a regular shoe insole, look at the arch shape here. And then also importantly, they have a heel cup. So cupping the heel to keep the heel from wiggling or rolling is very important for foot health and can help prevent plantar fasciitis as well as supporting your arch. So these are the Curex Pickleball ones, and I've actually enjoyed these. And one of the main reasons why is just a simple little thing they did, but these little grip pieces here, they're actually really nice. They keep me from, I have pretty aggressive footwork and I'll slide, from time to time, and these keep my foot in place. So I actually like these. I kind of wish that this hard piece would have extended more into the heel cup, but it's actually fine. It does a good job of doing arch support. And this is the, I think, medium arch version, which is yellow, which I think yours is red because you had the low arch version.
Yep. I'm a flat feet boy.
And then some other ones that are also very good that I've used quite a bit. These are the Super Feet Run. So there are multiple versions of these. There's a support version and a cushion version, and then there are low, medium, high arch. But this brand I've used, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 pairs for running shoes, pickleball shoes, hiking shoes, anything in between. And same thing, but this one extends a little bit more into the heel cup. These are very good. Between these and the Curex, it'd be hard for me to pick. I actually like both of these probably equally. And then my third one that I wanted to show, this is from a brand called Move. These are the Move Game Days. Same thing. Hard piece here, goes around. All of them have like a little cutout for heel. These probably have the best cushion of the 3. The foam is very nice. And this part on the bottom is a grippy material, so it keeps it from sliding around in your shoe. However, the big miss on these is that you can kind of see it shining. This material is so slippery. So I find my foot sliding and I'll bang my toes or, break toenails and things like that. If literally these had the grips on them, like the Curex, these would be my number 1 pick, but I just can't play in these too much because my slip around. So these they've just moved over to my casual shoes, not my court shoes. But overall, I still think these are an awesome product, and the cushion's really nice. And yeah, maybe they'll make an iteration with some grips on them. Those are my top 3 right now. The Curex is Super Feet and the Move Game Days. And they also do have a Game Day Pro version of these with an even stiffer shank. But I don't find that I need that. I want a little bit more flexibility in my court shoes.
I'll try to put some links for all of these just for you guys to check out.
We don't have codes or anything.
Yeah, no codes, but they do sell them on Amazon, except for maybe that last one. I'm not sure if I've seen the moves. Yeah,
they're probably on sale right now for holidays. It's definitely worth trying out if you're a person who has plantar fasciitis at all or heel pain. Like 100% worth trying. And Lewis knows because I got him to try them recently. he didn't love them the first time. I'm like, dude, it's just like shoes. They got to break in a little bit. They're probably not going to be super comfortable when you're not used to them for the first session, maybe the first 2 sessions.
They sucked the first session.
I know. He messaged me. He was like, I hate these things. These suck. And I was
these
like,
are terrible.
Please keep trying them.
Yeah. Absolute trash. I definitely will need to give them a few sessions, probably 2, and then you should be feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
But underrated thing that very few people talk about, and would definitely be, in most people's best interest to check out. So we're going to move on to some new grips from Ethos Pickleball, who is just known for making exceptional handles.
True.
And they have this new Pro Undergrip. So it's very similar to a Hesacore grip, except it has, in my opinion, a far superior design for one major reason. It has a grip from the very bottom all the way to, the top of where you would need your hands when you gripping the paddle. So I have it on my Vatic Pro Saga right now. And one problem with the Hesacore is it kind of leads you to basically grip the paddle a little bit higher up on the paddle, so you're not quite all the way flush with the bottom of the paddle. If you're someone like me who likes to be right here at the bottom, this is a much more comfortable grip for that use case. And the grip itself is a lot more ergonomic with how your fingers lay on the paddle and have that, angled ridges that really allow you to just put your fingers very easily in those grooves. And if I'm being honest, if I had to choose between the two, I would pick this Pro Undergrip from Ethos every single time. It feels more similar to a regular grip, but does have that slight enhancement with having a, easy identifiable spot to grip and then keep your fingers locked into. So you are not a huge Hesacore fan, are you?
I really tried, but I changed grips from shot to shot. And I want to ask you 2 questions about it, because I actually ordered one of those with my own money, but it's just lost in UPS or USPS, of course, which USPS, I don't blame them. This time of year has got to be crazy, right? All the Black Friday deliveries. But anyway, so I don't have this yet. But 2 questions. Number 1, with that one, is it more intuitive to change grips, say from semi-western to eastern, than it is with a Hesacore?
Yeah, I mean, it's very simple to just easily, because your fingers
feel
stay
okay, or what?
Your fingers still stay in these grooves on the,
it's like grooves rather than hexagons.
Yeah, on the front of the paddle. I'll just answer. Yes, it is so much easier to change grips between the two. Yeah, it's not even.
When I played with the Hesacore,
close.
It made me want to stay one grip all the time, and I hated that.
Yeah, I had to re-jog my memory, because they're those hexagonal circles that your fingers lay into, and it's not very intuitive to slightly change the paddle face, in terms of rotation. So yeah.
Next question. That seems like, from what I'm looking at, that it would only be good for a right-handed person. Is that right? Is there a left-handed version? Do you know? I don't think there is.
I think they... Yeah,
put your left hand on it.
They go in opposite directions.
I know, dude, but that's still right-handed either
left
way.
Hand.
Yeah, those are going down. You don't want the points of your fingers to go down, do you? Am I crazy?
Do? What do you mean?
Yeah, that's going up now. Now your points are going up.
I mean, there's hardly any difference, bro. Okay. So, I mean, I guess if you're a lefty, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not a lefty. I'm not a good person to answer that. If you're a lefty and this looks wrong to you,
I think that's a right-handed pattern that would feel probably better for right-handers. I think you would end up going across the grooves lefty.
I mean, my fingers are going down on a typical paddle. I think you're just making this up, bro. Are you just
am I crazy?
Are you just trying to be too nerdy?
No, bro. Your left hand is different than right-handed, like the way you grip the paddle and everything.
I mean, yeah, I totally
Lefties,
understand
tell
that.
us, am I crazy or not?
Yeah, I mean, I could 100% be wrong. I'm not in any way, shape, or form.
It looks like you're holding that paddle super weird.
Why? What do you mean?
Like you would hold your paddle like this, right? Like the butt down here, not like this. I don't know. Who knows? All right.
Yeah. What are you smoking, bro? Look at that. That's
honestly, lefties in the comments, tell us who's crazy here, me or him.
We all know we're both crazy, but who is wrong in this situation?
Who's wrong?
One of us is willing to be wrong. Anyway, we'll move on.
Had a thought, okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you can save. I think it's 15%.
Nice.
On these with code Pursuit. Let me double check real quick. It is. Oh God, Instagram's so dumb. The vanish mode. Can't get out.
Oh no.
There we go. Yeah, 15% off with code Pursuit. Anything on the Ethos website. They do have some very interesting paddles. Great grips, very unique shapes. Just have not gotten around to hitting very many of them. So definitely check those out. If you are a Hesacore fan and you just want to try something, in my opinion, that is better. So unless you're a lefty, according to Justin. So we're going to move on to everybody's second favorite section.
What's everybody's second favorite?
New week, new main, baby. New week, new main.
You go
and
first.
Boy, oh boy, do we have some news for you guys.
I don't know, man.
You're gonna
I don't know
love
if we have
this.
news.
All right, here we go. New week, new main, baby. Just kidding. Rocking the shit out of this Invader from Bread and Butter. I love this paddle. Played with the J3 Ti and the Saga Flash today, and then went back to this, and it's just clear. This is the paddle for me. I'd never have to think about anything. Nothing when I'm playing with this paddle. It's very much an intuitive experience, and I'm just dialed in with it. It's exactly how I want it to be. And it's not too powerful, not too poppy, but still provides enough power and pop. So, Justin, man, commitment issues.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little esoteric with this answer, all right?
Oh, boy. That's a big word.
I don't even know if I used it correctly.
Probably not.
After my experience at this tournament, this weekend,
should we just really quickly tell them what happened?
No.
If you want to know what happened, you're gonna have to watch episode.
If you want to know what happened, watch Lewis's series, Pursuit of Fluoro Gold, that will take forever if he keeps playing with me. So anyways, I was reminded violently that I'm too trash for a power paddle, or maybe even an all-court paddle. I don't know.
Violently.
So, vehemently, all right, reminded that, listen, I might need some control in my life. You know, I might need some placement. I might need some more consistency. I might need some more forgiveness. I need a lot of things, all right? Anyway, so, but actually, seriously, after the performance at the tournament, and then watching some of it back, I realized, and Lewis and I realized, which we're dumb as fuck for not realizing this before, because we talked about it on Net Gains last week, that consistency trumps all, right? Doesn't matter how many weapons you have if you're going to hit a ball into the net every third ball. So this has led me on a little bit of a search.
Especially
and a little bit of a personal search within myself. And I think what I decided is that for my own improvement, I actually have like plenty of skills and weapons and whatever you want to call them offensively in pickleball. And it's time for me to take a step back and try to hone in my consistency and maybe my defensive game. This may not be a permanent thing, but for this season, I'm going to focus on improving my defensive skills. And so that being said, I decided it was time to try out some other paddles. So my 2 front runners right now are, and these are the ones I played with last night, Shapeshifter HX. We talked about this earlier, but just super controllable, super forgiving. Excellent spin, by the way. We didn't say this when we were talking about it earlier. Excellent spin. So great paddle, and just really easy to hit dinks and drops without hitting them into the net. And my probably number 1 front runner, boom, it's a return of the Neonic Flow Swift. If you guys are OGs, you'll remember a couple months ago, this initially had its limited release from Neonic, and I love this paddle, and I was actually like about to main it. However, it was in development, or it still is in development, kind of, and wasn't going to be approved. So I had to put it down because we were playing tournaments, which is a shame because I was playing really well with it, and I love purple. But great now, paddle. The Neonic boys are getting this approved. So this is going to be tournament approved, and there's going to be another limited release. I don't know that it's going to public release. So if you want to get one, you need to jump on the Neonic Discord, and there's going to be another limited release there, and it will be approved. So now that it's going to be approved, I was like, I need to revisit this paddle because this has like been one of the ones that kind of held a place. And so revisiting that, played with it last night, played annoyingly well. Annoying because I played like such shit in the tournament just a couple days ago. But played super well with it, and was just like, it was just so intuitive. Love the feel. So this is the front runner right now, but I'm also kind of committing to not maybe having one specific main for a while because I have a lot of testing to catch up on since I had to take so much time off for my Achilles. So the Flow Swift, that's the front runner. However, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of testing, so I may not have a traditional main for a bit.
Justin was an absolute head case on Saturday.
I still kind of am about that damn tournament.
I looked at him. This is the last thing I'll say about the tournament. Justin, before game, what was it, 3 or 4? You're like,
I don't know,
dude. I think I'm gonna start being really aggressive on my serves. Oh, and I was like, yeah, don't do that. Just hit the ball in. Just hit it in. And then Justin proceeds to hit like 4 serves out in one game. I looked at him, and this was out of love. All right, guys, this was because I love Justin, and he's my pickleball wife. I said, Justin, if you miss another serve, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah. Okay. We were warming up. Like. Okay. So game 1 we didn't win, but there was some good things from it. So I wasn't feeling horrible after game 1. Yeah. Mainly the 8 points in a row that we scored. Yeah. And at least me personally, I kind of turned it around. I don't know about you, but then so before game 2 we were warming up and I was hitting some really good serves, and I was like, damn, I'm ready. And I'd seen that these guys in the warm up were struggling with their ground strokes. So I tell Lewis, I'm about to go for my serves. And then he like looks so shocked, and he's like, dude, don't do that. Just get him in. I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, just go 80%. And yeah, dude, I was totally in my head because I was then just like, he thinks I'm going to miss him? Am I going to miss him? I was feeling good. I thought these were good. Did he not see what I saw? And then of course, now I'm just like, playing not to miss rather than, it's just like a mindset thing. It's about to just transition right into net gains. You shouldn't be playing to not hit bad shots. You should be playing to hit the shots you can hit. Anyway, and my wife told me to tell you that the reason why I reacted that way is because I respect you as a player and I respect your opinion. So whenever you gave me a hard time thinking I was going to miss, I put a lot of stock in that opinion, and I started thinking I was going to miss. Confidence out the door. But to be fair, I was also working on very low confidence because I had so much time off. Okay, all right. Let's move on.
I tell you what, everybody needs to have a inspirational message from your wife just once in their life. They deserve that.
Yeah, she's pretty good at it, right?
Yeah, she really is. She is an exceptional hype woman, and she pretty much had me and my wife in tears one night at dinner. So Anyway, we'll move on to net gains. Justin, I'm sorry for saying I will fucking kill you.
It's okay.
And I do respect you as a player and your input as well. And I'll try to support you. All right. Net gains, baby. Net gains. We are going to talk about the most costly mistake you can make in pickleball. And it's probably not what you think. It is missing returns. And boy, oh boy, do Justin and I know what that is.
From experience. Many experiences.
Guys, we cannot stress enough how important it is to get the damn return in.
Yeah.
You are literally throwing away a point. Just straight up. You're not even giving yourself a chance to be in a point. So this week's net gains is very short and sweet, but for the love of God, get your returns in. If you are missing returns, you need to keep a tally of how many returns you've missed in a game, because that is exactly how many free points you gave the other team. So give yourself a fighting chance, get those returns in, or else you'll never win a 4-hour tournament like me.
And it's not something that people regularly practice. Like, we're warming up for games. Everybody's practicing their dinks. Everybody's practicing their drops, but how often do you warm up or practice your returns unless you're being intentional? So it's something that I personally am going to start intentionally drilling and practicing, because like Lewis said, we were pretty much playing like, hey, other team, you only have to score 7 points. Meanwhile, we have to score 11 because we'll give you 4 for free. Just missing returns. So
yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Truly,
truly, it really was. Yeah. And we lost a lot of these games by just a couple points.
Yeah.
So imagine if we didn't give away a bunch of free points every game.
Yeah. Yep. So get them returns in, guys, and don't hit your fourths in the net either. So we are gonna move on to everybody's favorite section, which is NERDTOWN, baby. Justin, bring us home, man.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep this quick, because I remember when you said, this will be a short podcast.
Yeah, we're already an hour and 5 minutes in.
Looking down, this is an hour plus.
We can talk.
So, really about nothing, too. That's the real skill.
We had so little
I know.
on the notes.
Let's keep this NERDTOWN quick, but this is something that's relevant right now, and you're probably going to hear more about it, which is PBCoR testing. I wanted to go over it real quick, explain what it is. A lot of you guys already know what it is, but I see quite a bit of conversations around it, and then someone chimes in and goes, wait, what? What's PBCoR testing, right? So PBCoR stands for Pickleball Coefficient of Restitution, or I think it actually stands for, Paddle Ball Coefficient of Restitution. And it's essentially a test where an air cannon fires a ball into a paddle. This paddle is held in a little pivoting clamp. So the ball will come out of an air cannon, and it hits this, and then the paddle can freely pivot. The ball speed is measured on the way in and then on the way out. And then the paddle is also measured, basically the force and how much it tips off. But the important part is to know that it's fired out of a cannon at 60 miles per hour, and they measure the speed in and then the speed out, and they take a ratio of those, and that is supposed to tell the power level of a paddle, right? How much energy of this initial energy going in is then returned on the way out. So, as you know, this is new testing that is going to be implemented in pickleball. It was supposed to have started on November 1st of this year for USAP approval, and this was a way to keep the power creep, essentially, of paddles, or stop the power creep and put a hard ceiling and say, this paddle is too powerful to be approved, right? It's going to need to pass a PBCoR number. It's going to have to be under 0.43 PBCoR, and that's supposed to keep, the game in a good spot. Okay, so that's what the testing is. Why is it relevant? Well, you may have heard this from other sources already, but this has been publicly stated now. It was supposed to start on November 1st, and you would send in a paddle for approval. The fees have raised for USAP approval supposedly because of additional testing, PBCoR testing, right? Oh, yawn counter. There's one yawn.
Yeah, that's my second yawn. This.
Dang, 2 yawns. You got to put the yawn counter. Tell him we need a yawn counter on NERDTOWN. He yawns multiple times every NERDTOWN. Yeah. But anyway, the fees have gone up, and this is for original paddle approval as well as similarity approval. And now the similarity is even called PBCoR similarity testing. Well, here's the rub. Multiple paddle companies, and like I said, this is public information, have been sending in paddles for approval after November 1st, paying the new fees, and getting their paddles approved, right? Whether similarity or an original submission, receiving the approval report from USAP that says, hey, your paddle's approved. Well, they add it to the list. You see it on the website. However, on those reports, there are no PBCoR results. And then whenever these owners are directly asking USAP, excuse me, you've said it's approved and we paid the higher testing fees, what's the PBCoR number? No response, just crickets. So also USAP had mentioned in their release that they were going to come out with a new seal, approval seal for paddles to get tested for PBCoR. They will have a PBCoR approved seal moving forward. And company owners, you need to know this. You need to have this graphic on hand, because when you send your paddle to be built, you obviously decide what graphics are going to be on there, and then you send them the file for the approval stamp and say, hey, put this on there. Well, these paddle company owners have been asking USAP for this approval stamp, especially for the ones that have been tested and approved since November 1st. Crickets. No response. So it's concerning, to say the least. And the other thing I was going to go into, I'll leave this up to you, Lewis. See if you're going to fall asleep or not. I was going to talk about how core testing, coefficient of restitution testing, has actually been used in baseball and softball for over 20 years golf. Now. Yeah, and golf. But specifically, the test in baseball and softball is almost identical to the pickleball one. It's a little bit different in golf. Mm-hmm. But I actually read 9 different studies today. These were kind of long PDFs about core testing. Nerd. I do it for you. I do it for the viewers.
Let's go for it, man. I'm interested to hear. I'm gonna yawn a couple times, but I'm interested.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that's all one part what I just said, which is concerning. You can draw your own conclusions. I'm not going to speculate about what's happening with USAP, but that's what the test is supposed to be already done. Is it being done? We don't know. The facility that does the testing is actually can't remember the full name, but it's called like Element Testing and Science or something along those lines. You could find it. But they work with USAP to do the testing, and paddle companies have been able to privately contact Element and get their paddles tested and get a PBCoR result. So the test is real. It does work, and there are results. However, they're just not being communicated through the channel of USAP. So going back to what I was just saying, core testing, coefficient of restitution testing, has been used now in softball and baseball, specifically at the NCAA level, and then even some lower levels now for over 20 years. So while there isn't a lot of information in pickleball, or basically no information to support it or to talk about what paddles test where, there's a ton of information in these other sports. And there's a lot of studies looking at the test as a whole. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it work correctly? And what I learned today, and I'll keep it quick, is in general, yes, it's very good. However, there are cases, and I'm not even smart enough to go into the physics here, but there are cases where the core result actually does not correlate perfectly well with ball speed. So this was talking about for baseball bats, but I'll bring it back to paddles. Like, so say this paddle had a higher core result than this one, lower core result. However, in field testing, so using radar guns, the paddle with the lower core result can actually give out higher ball speeds than the one with a higher result. So in that case, they're inversely correlated, or just really not even inversely correlated, just not correlated as they should be, which is concerning. So, and there have been cases of companies in baseball who figured out, basically, because there are these large companies in baseball and softball have their own core testing equipment, at this point, because it's so old, right? And they figured out sort of how to game the test, so to say, how to make bats that will test below the limit on core, but give higher ball speeds than other bats that may test right at the limit or even higher than those. And a lot of it has to do with stiffness and flex and a lot of physics that makes Lewis yawn. But just thought it was worth mentioning, and that seems concerning. And, one may speculate that as USAP is starting to test a bunch of paddles now, that they're realizing, oh shit, maybe this doesn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. Maybe it isn't perfectly correlated with what paddles we think are problematic or aren't. This is pure speculation, but maybe that's why they're not releasing results until they figure out something else to kind of get it in line with what they want it to be in line with. We'll see. So we'll keep an ear to the ground and see if there's any news. But that's kind of the up-to-date on what's actually publicly released and fact. And there are quite a few other rumors beyond that, but I won't go into those.
Gotta ask.
What?
This is just a yes or a no question. Have you hit the new ripples?
No. Not more than bouncing a ball on them.
All right, question number 2. And we're going to revisit this question because we talked about this a while ago. What do you think should be the cap on power? I got a lot of shit for my answer.
What?
Yeah, give me a paddle that you think is the tip of the power scale that should be allowed, in your opinion.
Perseus 3S? 3S, the new 3Ss? I think, and I have very little experience here, but and maybe people can chime in, but I think that the Yola Perseus 3S, the new Gen 3s, are just about the same or just slightly more powerful on large swings than a Paddletech TKO. Mm-hmm. So let's just say roughly, I think they're in the same neighborhood. Let's just say those. So Paddletech TKO, Yola 3S. So that's not a hot take. I think that's what most people would say. So that would cut off Mod, Gearbox PPE, Ripples, and what else? Anything else random from smaller brands is just kind of crazy.
Not that I can think of. There's a paddle out there that's a Gearbox clone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. I would think the Paddletech Bantam series is the most powerful a paddle should be allowed to be.
Yeah. There are some other kind of sleeper paddles that are almost like some of those Engage paddles are basically just the same as the Paddletech ones power-wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, the reason why we don't even know them by name is because it hasn't really caused problems. Mm-hmm. You know, all the ones that have caused problems and make pickleball feel unpleasant for people are the ones that everyone knows the name of.
Did you have fun playing the mod on Saturday?
You're talking about the guy who body bagged me from his ankles while he was running away from me?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, guys, here, let's say this about the tournament. I got bagged 4 times in the tournament. 3 of them were off the net. So I was a little bit frustrated with that. I was about to go full Colin Johns on the net cord because 3 different balls tip off the net and bag me.
Well, I have a new tournament. I have a tournament this weekend.
All right. Redemption. It's your redemption arc.
Redemption. Oh, man. Got to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It has to happen. It will happen. I'm confident.
I like the confidence.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm confident. I'm kind of pulling a page out of your book. Yeah. Jack, carry me, baby. Carry me. Man, anything else we want to say?
Let's land this plane, as you would say.
All right. Let's land this plane. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in for episode 25 or something of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, with Pickleball Pursuit. Here with my co-host, Justin, my ho-host.
You just wanted to say
from host. Pickleball, etc. We will see you guys next time. If you have any questions or comments about anything you want answered on the next podcast, leave those in the comment section below. Check you guys later. Peace.